The goal is this. The goal is to remove of the built up grime on the electric stove. The tools that you have before me are the Weiman glass cooktop cleaner and polish, the Weiman disinfectant stovetop cleaner, and the Weiman cooktop scrubbing pads, as well as the razor blade glass scraper from the Master Company. You're supposed to scrape it wet, not dried, so I put some of this glass cooktop cleaner, and then I sprayed it down to make it wet and set in. Stovetop cleaner. Insert the razor blade into the razor blade scraper. Now it's inserted. Mix it in a little bit and then attack the grime. See, it's easily coming out. And it doesn't appear to be harming the cooktop. You can add this to your collection. Okay, so just to continue, if you have a burner that is filled with grime, just know that with this razor blade, you can apply a little bit of pressure. It's not going to harm the cooktop from what I see. And it's just going to keep coming out if it's heavily set in over the months or even years for some of you. So you see that noise is from the grime that it's stopping. The razor blade is stopping on the grime that is set in. Let me just add a little bit more cleaner to keep it wet. And as you go along, you'll see that more and more will keep coming out. And where the razor blade stops, that's where the grime is. And you could tell by looking at the edge of the blade which of these burners I use the most, right? It's this middle one, the one to the bottom right, depending on the angle in which you're using it. And you might decide, well, this is something that I can just get somebody to do. I might just hire somebody to clean it. Well, let's say you had a party, you made a mess, or you just want to do it yourself. For some of you, this might be therapy, just some kind of ASMR, watching the grime go away. If you see here in the bottom, you could tell the clumps of grease and set on debris that is wearing away. Or let's say you go to a house or you just have a big house party and now you want to leave everything the way you found it. Just know that this is something that you can do yourself. And again, we're testing out the Weiman disinfectant stovetop cleaner, the Weiman glass cooktop cleaner, and the Weiman cooktop scrubbing pads, right here. So after you've loosened some of the grime, you might just wear some of it away like that. And some of you might have less mess to clean up than others, depending on which cooktop you use the most or how much of a spill you've had over the years. Then you would just take a clean napkin. Some of you might use a sponge, others might use some sort of towel to see what we're up to. It might take more than one setting to get this completely clean, but it's already a lot better than it originally was. But guess what? We want to get it as clean as possible, right? Let's make believe we wanted to leave this place better than we found it. So let me go through the process again. If you didn't see the express video we did before, so I'm just going to outline generously the outer area that has much of the set-in grease, grime, and other stain from cooking. And I'm going to spray this Weiman disinfectant stovetop cleaner just so it can set in, because you're supposed to wet it before you begin to use the scraper. And this is what we use. I just wanted you to see the products in case you want to buy them. And the razor blade will come with, right, that you're getting in this pack. You can buy it in your local hardware store if you want to support it. If you don't want to use Amazon or you just Don't want to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. And this, the Master Razor Blade Glass Scraper will come with a set of 2 to 3 razor blades like this that you insert at the top. And if you don't know which side the razor blade goes in, it has an arrow pointing to the side where you insert the razor blade. And just keep in mind that the razor blades come inside this protective holder, so you won't slice your fingers, as I did once as a child, holding a razor blade. And if you don't want to bleed all over the place, just know that you're going to hold it on this end. The cardboard top is protecting the blade. So once you take it out, you want to insert it holding the bottom end, right? The metal part right here. So it won't make contact with, the blade won't make contact with your finger, and just insert it all the way. And if you see you're still having some trouble inserting it all the way, just hit it on a table or something until it goes in completely. So now that we've done that, what you want to do is just mix it in a little bit with this scrubber, just a little bit, so it can set in a little more. And then after you've done that, you can begin scraping. All right, we want to get it as clean as possible. And just so you know, because we believe here at Life Examined that an informed consumer makes better decisions. So you hear that? If you hear the grime coming off, that might be some kind of ASMR for some of you. And just looking at grime more away. Just keep in mind, for some of you who might have fragrance allergies, the disinfectant as well as the cooktop cleaner does have a bit of a smell to it. Okay, it's not as strong as ammonia, but you can tell it's made of chemicals. So if you are so affected by fragrances that you can't use these sort of products, just know that you might want to open windows. Just know that you might want to skip this job altogether and hand it to someone else who does not have fragrance allergies, right? For some people, it might trigger their migraines or sinuses. Yeah, I like the way this is the second time we're doing this for you, our viewing audience, and it's still catching a lot of dirt and stains and grime. So we're going to put a little bit more there. Let it sit in, all right? Patient, right? Water doesn't boil while we're looking. Sometimes you have to be patient with things. Maybe sometimes instead of wanting to hire someone else to do it, you might want to do it yourself. It all depends on the time and the mindset that you have. It's not a judgment on your personality. It's just knowing that you have options. It's good to have options, isn't it? So this tool over here, you might get on Amazon. You might get 2 for about $10. If you go to your local hardware store, you might get just 1 for about $3, $4, depending on the inflation rate where you are and how much rent the hardware store has to pay. But if you want to support your local shops, yes, by all means, go there. You might want to pick it up the same day and right around the corner instead of wanting to wait 24 hours or 48 hours or until the weekend to start your project, right? It's a good feeling when you just can go and pick up something that you need right away for your project and not have to wait for it, right? Ambition doesn't wait, does it? You never know when you're going to get that spark. And already I can see the outline of where the pan is supposed to go. Right? Before, with all this grime and all this dirt, it's almost impossible to see. It's almost like the dirt itself, the set-on grease, made its own ring to make a spot for an even bigger pot. But that's not what you want. You want to get it all out. So you might want to dedicate anywhere from, if you have a big job like this to do on a single burner, and you have set-in grease, like I have here in front of me, you might want to dedicate anywhere from 20 to about 30 minutes, if not more, for a project like this. And if the blade goes in, just know you can lock it in to this position here at the top. The grease is not so hard that it's going to make it go all the way back and reset itself. But it's a good feeling in knowing that you can restore something to how it originally looked. Now, this is an electric cooktop from Maytag, I believe. Maytag? Is it General Electric? I can't tell at the moment. It could be General Electric. But some of you, especially if you're of a certain age, or even younger folks, you might prefer the gas range because you can sometimes, for some of you, clean it easier, but you can also control the amount of heat that is distributed around the foods that you're making. Another complaint I hear about a lot of these electric cooktops is that once you turn off the heat, it doesn't necessarily turn off. So if you notice, if you're boiling water, you turn it off. The water might keep boiling for another 2 to 3 minutes. That's a personal thing, right? There's always pros and cons with every technological improvement. Most new apartments as well as new houses come with an electric cooktop. So with that comes with new ways to keep it clean, to keep it working. And sometimes we have to adjust to new things, but you still want to incorporate some of the old things that came with experience and trial and error. So we're almost done, I believe. Let me just wet it a little bit more because our job is to get it as close to clean as it was in its original state, and just keep the suds going just so you can have, and even when you're wiping away, this is how the sponge is going to look with all the grime that you picked up. And for all you fans of grease and set on grease, here is how your scraper will look after some time. Sometimes you need to make a few bubbles to get clear. Yeah, so I'm already seeing the lines in the middle. And I guess the goal would be to keep it like this for a long period of time. And for that, I believe you will find this handy, the Weiman disinfectant and stovetop cleaner. Most new electric cooktop ranges like this one will come with a small bottle of this. And what they don't tell you is that it's not enough to get out the hard set-in stains and grease buildup. What you need to do is scrape it with a tool like this. And this is information that I didn't find out from trial and error. There's a lovely woman who lives in Delaware, and I don't want to dox anyone. I wish I could give her full credit, but she recommended this method to me. And I asked, after looking at her electric cooktop, I wanted to say cook stove. And my first question was, how do you keep yours so clean? Both her and her husband seem to use her stove a lot for cleaning. So I asked her, and she recommended these products. Not only did she recommend this product to me, but she bought me a set of the Weiman cleaning products for glass electric cooktop surfaces. Good. I want you to see how much pressure I'm putting into it. And already you can tell the labels that are underneath this for the pots that you put on it. Over here you have, it says power boil, which I haven't seen in a very long time. That's the benefit of keeping something clean. You can tell what was underneath, or supposed to be there. So I'm no longer being stopped by the grease, which is a good sign, which means that we're reaching the end of this process. And again, so if you want to get it as clean as possible, you might want to dedicate 20 to 30 minutes to this project. Who knows, you might want to do it all in one day. You might want to just relax, put some music, listen to your favorite podcast, go on a marathon and binge on all the Life Examined content that's out there. Even when you're making content, you want to be as versatile as possible, not be pigeonholed into just one thing. But if you're good at that one thing, keep doing it. That's where your bread and butter is going to be. But know that you can diversify and keep things interesting just by sometimes switching things up a little bit. So you're going to see do it yourself. You're going to see sometimes interviews, personal interviews, street interviews. You're going to see data. You're going to get educational courses, sometimes even personal ideas on things. So look at that. We need to wipe it down a little bit more so you can tell how it's going to shine. It's almost like detailing a car. And I believe this is what you call an instant success from the Weiman products that we've used, right? And I want to say thanks to the woman that put me on to these products. And not only that, but aside from the scraper, bought these products for me to use and gave me the suggestion to start this. And we pass on this information because an informed consumer makes better decisions. And that's what we hope to do in life, make better decisions with what we know. With that, let's move on to the next burner.